How to demonstrate strength and value without having to speak. Based on the wisdom of the ancient Stoics, I'll show you 9 habits that can change the way people see you, making you naturally exude confidence and power. These habits aren't just about appearance, but also about behavior, attitude, and posture. When you understand this, you'll inspire respect and strength without having to raise your voice. True power comes from within and is reflected in how you act, think, and treat others. If you're tired of being ignored or underestimated and want to change that, stick around. What you'll learn could be the turning point in recognizing your own worth and being respected for who you truly are. Never forget, true power lies not in commanding others, but in mastering yourself. When your actions align with the same values you believe in, your presence speaks for itself. You become authentic, assertive, and naturally admired. Let's begin. Habit 1. How you express yourself. The way we express ourselves goes far beyond words. Our value and presence are felt silently and deeply. Studies show that more than half of our communication comes not from what we say, but from what we convey with our bodies, our gaze, and even our silence. Every gesture speaks volumes. When you enter a room with calm, confidence, and authenticity, you convey a powerful energy that naturally inspires and attracts others. Often, the constant desire to be noticed or praised makes us try too hard to impress others. But in this effort, we risk losing our essence and alienating the very people who matter most. True impact comes from what we show without having to say anything. It's our authenticity, calmness, and poise in our actions that truly charm and inspire. This isn't about attracting attention, but rather about creating a firm, calm presence that speaks louder than any speech. In Stoic philosophy, true power lies in controlling oneself and understanding life practically. Socrates said, "Know thyself." This inner knowledge gives us the clarity to focus on what truly matters, conducting our actions with calm and honesty. When we act with this kind of self-control, our presence becomes a point of stability, a quiet confidence that touches people's hearts. Being noticed may last for a short time, but being felt lasts for a long time. A serene look, a sincere gesture, or a genuine attitude are more powerful than 1,000 words. Silence, when it comes from authenticity, is one of the most powerful forms of expression. It leaves an invisible mark, a calm and real energy that creates true and deep bonds with the world around us. Habit 2. Confidence. Confidence is the foundation of a true life. Without believing in yourself, in your mind, your energy, and your capabilities, no one gets very far. The writer Thomas Atkinson said that success begins within those who believe in themselves, and he was right. Confidence isn't something demonstrated with fine words, but with firm actions and decisions. It's seen in the way you walk, talk, and present yourself to the world. For Stoics, self-trust means recognizing your own worth, even with mistakes, flaws, and limitations. It's not about striving for perfection, but about being honest with yourself. Think of a leader walking into a meeting. He doesn't need to say anything for everyone to notice his presence. His erect body, steady gaze, and confident steps speak volumes. Even before he opens his mouth, he exudes respect and confidence. This kind of energy isn't a rare gift. It's available to anyone willing to cultivate it. Just stop looking outside yourself and start noticing what's inside. True confidence isn't arrogance, nor the desire to think you're better than others. It's knowing, calmly and confidently, that you're enough. It's believing in your abilities and valuing who you are, without needing anyone's approval. For the Stoics, confidence comes from within. The philosopher Epictetus said, "No one is truly free who is not master of himself." This means that confidence comes from controlling our attitudes and reactions, not from what others think of us. An important step in strengthening this trust is learning to be truly present. When you pay full attention in a conversation, listen carefully and act calmly, you demonstrate respect and confidence. This presence conveys a quiet confidence, one that doesn't need to be explained, just felt. Standing up straight, looking people in the eye and truly paying attention to what's happening, says a lot about the kind of person you are. This true presence, this way of being completely in the moment, shows your value naturally, effortlessly. When you understand that true confidence comes from strengthening your own principles, you stop trying to prove anything to others. You simply live as you are, calmly, sincerely, and confidently. Remember, true confidence is silent. There's no need to talk about your achievements, how much you earn, or try to show off. Just be present, be real, and maintain your inner peace. By applying the wisdom of the Stoics to your daily life, you go beyond believing in your potential. You begin to put it into practice in every choice and action. Acting with confidence means realizing that the power to excel and live authentically already resides within you, waiting for the right moment to emerge. As Marcus Aurelius said, "Look within yourself. There lies the source of good, and it can flow unceasingly if you know how to seek it." Habit 3. Do less, but with moral perfection. We live in an age where everyone wants to do everything, accumulating tasks, projects, goals, and commitments as if productivity were synonymous with value. But the more we try to do, the less we do well. And the more we scatter, the less profound we become. The ancient Stoics knew that true excellence is born not from haste or quantity, but from presence. Doing less isn't giving up on the world. It's choosing what truly deserves your energy. It's focusing your life on a few actions, but carried out with soul, clarity, and integrity. Seneca said that life is not short, we are the ones who waste it. He saw time as a sacred gift, and how we use it as a direct reflection of our character. The common mistake is to confuse movement with progress. We rush, respond to messages, accept invitations, accumulate tasks, and we call it living. But deep down, we are only distracting ourselves from what matters. The wise, on the other hand, don't want to do everything. They want to do well what they choose. The moral perfection the Stoics sought was not about impeccable results, but about pure intentions and upright execution. It was about instilling virtue in every act. When Marcus Aurelius wrote his Meditations, he wasn't thinking about being remembered, but about acting according to his principles. That's why he said, "Spend no more time arguing about what a good man is. Be one." Doing less is the most direct path to this, because those who do less can do it conscientiously, and those who do it conscientiously act in harmony with their values. Observe the calmest and most admirable people you know. They aren't rushing around trying to appear busy. They choose wisely what to do and dedicate themselves with total presence. Their energy is restrained yet profound. Their every action seems simple, yet carries purpose. This kind of attitude conveys a serene strength, the strength of someone who isn't distracted by unnecessary things. Doing less is also an act of courage. It requires saying no to what is shallow and yes to what makes sense. The modern mind, accustomed to haste and comparison, fears emptiness. It thinks stopping is a waste of time. But emptiness is where clarity is formed. It is in the silence of decisions that the strength to act well is born. Imagine a craftsman shaping a single piece of wood. He doesn't think about how many he'll make that day, but how to make this one with excellence. Each cut, each polish is an extension of his soul. When he finishes, there's no rush or ostentation. There's quiet satisfaction. This is the Stoic spirit applied to life. Few acts, but all done with virtue. The opposite of this is a fragmented lifestyle, a little bit of everything and nothing whole. We start books and don't finish them. We promise more than we deliver. We talk more than we listen. This dispersion takes away our power and weakens our character. With each incomplete action, the mind loses focus and self-respect. Moral perfection is the antidote. It is the habit of aligning each act with what is right, not what is urgent. Excellence for the Stoics was a form of meditation. Doing good was an exercise in presence. If you're washing a dish, wash it as if it were a sacred duty. If you're writing an email, write clearly and respectfully. If you're helping someone, truly help. These small moral perfections shape character more than grand speeches. Integrity isn't revealed in heroic gestures, but in the invisible details you do when no one is looking. Marcus Aurelius said we should act as if each task were our last. This phrase carries enormous power. Imagine if every act of yours were your last look, your last word, your last decision. Would you act hastily or carefully? This is how those who understand the value of focus and virtue live. Nothing is done haphazardly. Everything is done consciously. In the next few days, practice this habit. Reduce your tasks, but raise your moral standards. Hold fewer meetings, but listen more deeply. Talk less, but do what you say. Work fewer hours, but with full concentration. The goal isn't to be productive, it's to be honest. Honesty is what transforms any ordinary act into something noble. And when the world tries to convince you that you need to rush, respond quickly, or do more, remember Seneca, "He who aims too much achieves none." True strength lies in selecting, in acting with virtue, in not getting lost in the multitude of tasks. Doing less is an act of respect for your time, your energy, and your soul. When you do less but do it well, everything you touch carries truth. And those who act truthfully do not need to rush, because each gesture is already living proof of what greatness is. So here's the invitation. For the next 7 days, choose to do less but better. Value silence over haste, precision over excess. You will realize that respect from others comes naturally when you respect your every action, because the world admires those who don't do everything. It admires those who do it right. Habit 4. Integrity. Living according to your values. Ralph Emerson once said, "What you do speaks so loudly that I cannot hear what you say." Even after all these years, this phrase remains true. Our actions reveal more about who we are than any speech. Without integrity, we live divided between what we say and what we actually do. And this internal conflict ends up showing up in our lives and relationships. For Stoicism, integrity is not just something admirable, but rather the foundation of a life of purpose and virtue. Being honest means aligning what we believe with what we do, demonstrating our true value without needing praise or approval. Just as a lighthouse guides sailors in a storm, a person of integrity shines by example, inspiring others through the consistency between their words and actions. True integrity is evident in our daily actions, especially when no one is looking. It's in small gestures that our character is revealed, and that's where integrity stands out from the crowd. Integrity isn't a pretense, it's an inner conviction that can't be invented. To develop it, it's essential to first discover your core values. Ask yourself, what truly matters to me? What principles underpin my life? Take time to reflect and align your actions with these answers. When you act according to your values, you live authentically, and this authenticity naturally attracts respect and trust. Another pillar of integrity is honesty, both with others and with yourself. Recognizing your flaws and learning from them is much stronger than trying to hide them. Owning up to your mistakes opens the door to true growth. The strength of integrity doesn't come from striving for perfection, but from the courage to see yourself as you are and understand that life is a journey of continuous learning. It's built on small habits, keeping to schedules, respecting deadlines, treating everyone with dignity, regardless of their contribution. These simple, consistent gestures build a solid, trustworthy character. Living with integrity means following a path guided by firm principles, creating a life of purpose and fulfillment. This builds self-confidence and ensures genuine respect, both from ourselves and others. As Marcus Aurelius said, integrity is the soul of man. Without it, we are nothing. May these words remind us of the strength of living according to our values and the courage to be true to who we truly are. If you know someone who needs to hear this, share this video, like it, and subscribe to the channel. Habit 5. Humility, the foundation of true growth. In everything in life, balance is essential. We often confuse humility with diminishing ourselves, but being humble doesn't mean that. It means acting with authenticity and simplicity. Humility is the quality of those who assume responsibilities with dignity, without arrogance or pride. Truly humble people are kind, Know how to listen and act sincerely without expecting rewards or recognition. Think of a chef who doesn't talk about his achievements, but lets his competence shine through his actions. He helps the team, admits his mistakes, and is respected because he builds trust by example. His humility is in his actions, not in self-promotional words. Now compare him to another boss who constantly shows off, corrects others to appear superior, and belittles others to feel important. Even though he's talented, his attitude drives away admiration. True example comes from humility, a quiet strength that doesn't need to be displayed. Humility reveals our value in a genuine way. People with true confidence don't need to show off. They convey serenity and simplicity. Epictetus said that no one can learn something they think they already know. Humility is essential for growth because by recognizing that there is always something new to learn, we open space for opportunities and continuous development. So, how do we develop this virtue? The first step is to understand that we don't know everything. We live in a time when many people want to appear to be experts in everything, but humility helps us accept our flaws and limitations. This takes the burden off of trying to be perfect and creates space for us to truly grow. Also, try to listen more than you speak. Give others the opportunity to share their ideas without interrupting or trying to prove you're right. Humility also manifests itself in how we treat others, regardless of whether they have more or less power than us, recognizing that everyone has something important to teach. And when you make a mistake, don't make excuses. Admit it and be ready to improve. This honesty is a form of courage, not weakness. When you practice humility, you become more approachable, more real, and naturally earn people's respect and trust. Humility is the foundation of a life of learning and true relationships. It's not just a virtue, but the secret to living a meaningful and fulfilling life. Habit 6. Reflect before bed. Few moments of the day are as powerful as the minutes before sleep. It's when the body slows down, but the mind remains awake, reviewing, without you realizing, everything you've experienced. It's in this silent moment that truths reveal themselves. The Stoics knew this and transformed nightly reflection into one of the most sacred habits of self-mastery and inner clarity. Marcus Aurelius did this every night. He reviewed the day in silence, asking himself, "Where did I do well? Where did I fail? What can I improve tomorrow?" It wasn't a ritual of guilt, but of learning. It was a way to align reason, emotion, and virtue before sleep took him. Reflect on the power of this. The day begins well when the previous night ends in awareness. While most people fall asleep distracted, scrolling through their cell phones or reliving arguments, the wise retreat into themselves. They don't escape their thoughts, they organize them. They don't sleep to forget, but to understand. Nighttime reflection is like a mental cleansing. It sweeps away excess, calms the heart, and prepares the mind for a new dawn. Seneca, in one of his letters, described this habit accurately. When the light goes out and silence descends upon the house, I examine my day and review every action. I let nothing pass. What have I done? What have I thought? Where have I been unjust, impatient, weak? And then, when I find mistakes, I do not condemn them, I simply acknowledge them. Thus, tomorrow will be lighter and stronger. This was the method of self-mastery, simple yet transformative. Your bedtime reflection doesn't have to be long, just honest. Just ask yourself 3 fundamental questions. What did I do well today? To reinforce virtuous behavior and feel gratitude for progress. What could I have done better? To learn without punishing yourself. What will I do differently tomorrow? To turn regret into direction. These questions build, night after night, a kind of silent wisdom that shapes character. They make you notice patterns, the mistakes that repeat themselves, the emotions that overwhelm you, the distractions that weaken you. And when you begin to see clearly, you gain power. Because self-knowledge is the first step to any real change. The modern world does the opposite. It pushes the mind toward distraction. People fear silence because they can't stand what they hear when it arrives. That's why they sleep with headphones on, TV shows on, or worries. But it's in silence that the spirit reorganizes itself. Reflect before bed, not as someone seeking perfection, but as someone seeking presence. When you observe your own behavior, you learn to separate what depends on you from what doesn't, the core of Stoic philosophy. Epictetus taught that what is within our control should be examined, what is not should be accepted. This distinction is what brings peace of mind before sleep. Reflection serves precisely this purpose, to let go of what is out of our control and take responsibility for what can still be changed. A mind that sleeps peacefully is a mind that understands its limits and its possibilities. Imagine ending the day serenely, unburdened by unfinished conversations or useless guilt. Imagine going to bed knowing you've learned something, even if the day was difficult. This is the purpose of the Stoic examination, transforming each experience into wisdom. The night ceases to be just the end of one cycle and becomes the beginning of another, more conscious, more lucid, stronger. In practice, start simple. Turn off visual and audio stimuli a few minutes before bed. Take 3 deep breaths and close your eyes. Relive the day in order, morning, afternoon, and evening. Notice what gave you energy and what drained you. Be grateful for your successes and humbly acknowledge your mistakes. This small ritual creates a mind trained in clarity. Over time, you'll begin to notice fewer mistakes, increased calm, and deeper sleep. Because when your consciousness is in order, your body rests. Reflect before bed to learn to forgive yourself. Stoic self-criticism is not punishment, it is correction. It doesn't say you failed, but rather you can improve. There is strength in this difference. The wise man doesn't carry the weight of the past to bed. He learns, adjusts, and sleeps lightly. Because he knows that virtue is not a state, but a path, and each night is a chance to walk better. Marcus Aurelius said, "Think like a man of action, and act like a man of thought." Nighttime reflection is where thought and action meet. It is there, in the silence of your room, that you reconcile yourself with the day you have lived and prepare for the day to come. Before bed, turn off the lights inside too. Turn off the noise, the comparisons, the rush. Listen to what the day taught you. Be grateful for what remains. Release what weighs you down. Tomorrow you'll start anew, calmer, wiser, and more aligned with what truly matters. Reflect before you sleep, because it is in this moment of stillness that the spirit is renewed and the mind strengthened. Night is not the end. It is the silent laboratory of inner transformation. Habit 7. Cultivate a calm gaze. A look reveals more about a person than any words. It reveals whether there is peace or confusion within. Her calm look isn't just a behavioral trait. It's a reflection of a mind that has learned not to react to everything, that observes before judging, and that understands that clarity arises from inner stillness. We live in a time when our eyes dart from screen to screen, from news to news, from face to face. Everything seems urgent, everything seems important, and, in this overstimulation, the mind loses the ability to see what's essential. A calm gaze is the antidote to this invisible rush. It's the mark of someone who masters their own attention, of someone who observes the world without letting it drag them along. The Stoics called this apathy, not in the sense of indifference, but of emotional serenity. It was the state of those who saw reality without distortions, because they had already learned to control their own passions. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, said, "You have power over your mind, not over external events. When you understand this, you will find strength." A calm gaze arises precisely from this understanding. When the world screams, the wise choose to observe. Cultivating this kind of gaze is more than controlling expressions. It's a profound exercise in presence and mastery. It's training your eyes to see what's truly there, not what your ego, fear, or anger wants to see. When someone provokes you, a calm gaze cuts the tension. When someone offends you, a calm gaze shows that you're not open to conflict. When chaos ensues, a calm gaze is a reminder that there's still order within you. This kind of presence changes the atmosphere. Some people, upon entering a place, stir things up. Others, upon arriving, bring peace. And what sets them apart isn't their tone of voice or their clothing. It's the way they look. A calm gaze conveys security because it reveals someone who isn't reacting to the world, but choosing how to participate in it. But to develop this perspective, you must first learn to slow down internally. When you wake up, avoid starting the day in a rush. Observe people's faces without rushing, without judgment. When in a conversation, listen with your eyes. These small gestures train focus and make room for calm to become natural. An agitated mind creates tense eyes. A calm mind creates steady eyes. And the more you calm yourself internally, the more you realize that calm gaze isn't an effort, it's a state. It comes when you stop fighting, when you understand you don't need to win any invisible race, when you begin to see the world with curiosity, not defensiveness. Seneca said that nothing is more powerful than a mind that remains unperturbed by fortune or misfortune. This imperturbability is what the calm gaze communicates, a peace that doesn't depend on circumstances, a strength that needs no explanation. It's the kind of presence that makes people respect you without you saying a word. The calm gaze is the gaze of someone who doesn't despair in the face of uncertainty, of someone who observes pain without denying it, but also without drowning in it. It's the gaze of someone who has already understood that emotions come and go, but awareness remains. And it is this awareness that creates greatness. Over the next few days, practice looking calmly in the simplest situations, in traffic, in lines, during difficult conversations, or when you feel irritated. Breathe, relax your face, and maintain a calm gaze. Don't look at the world as if you need to react to everything. Observe it as you would a landscape, without rushing to judge, just being present. Over time, you'll realize something powerful. A calm gaze doesn't just change how others see you, it changes how you see yourself. It restores your self-control, connects you with reality, and reminds you at every moment that peace isn't in what you look at, but in how you choose to look. Because in the end, the calm gaze is the reflection of the soul that has learned to see the world without losing itself. And if you're enjoying the content, consider becoming a channel member. Besides helping the channel, you'll also get exclusive content. Click the link in the description and become a member now. Back to content. Habit 8. Patience. How can patience change your life? Aristotle said, "Patience is bitter, but its fruit is sweet." This phrase shows us how powerful this virtue is. It is both strength and wisdom. We live in a time where everything is fast, where haste dominates, and impatience has become common. In this scenario, being able to wait and act at the right time becomes a rare and valuable skill, capable of changing the way we think, act, and connect with others. Patience is more than simply waiting. It's an act of courage, balance, and self-control. It's a quality that changes how people see you, as it creates a solid foundation of respect and trust in relationships. Think of bamboo. For years, it seems to stand still, but during that time, its roots grow strong and deep. After that, it sprouts and grows very quickly, reaching great heights. Patience works the same way. At first, it seems invisible, but over time, it creates a firm and powerful foundation in your life. Being patient means having the courage to wait with faith and calm. In a world that wants everything now, patience teaches us to respect the right timing of things. When we cultivate it, we demonstrate emotional control and convey a calmness that makes others trust us. Seneca said that patience is the courage of virtue, and that's exactly what it is. It helps us see situations clearly and respond wisely, rather than acting impulsively and later regretting it. To develop this skill, start by noticing when impatience appears. If you get irritated with someone or nervous waiting for a message, stop and ask yourself, is this worth my peace of mind? These moments are opportunities to practice patience and show respect, both for others and for yourself. Patience isn't just the act of waiting, but the way you wait. It helps you better perceive what's happening around you, make better decisions, and create deeper, more genuine bonds. When we lose our patience and react without thinking, we end up creating problems that could have been avoided if we had taken a breath and waited a little longer. True patience is a quiet, constant force that emerges in every action we take. Epictetus said that nothing great comes into being suddenly, like a grape or a fig. If someone said they wanted a fig now, they would reply that they had to wait for the right time. First comes the flower, then the fruit, and only then does it ripen. Patience teaches us exactly this, to respect each stage of the process and trust that everything has its right time to happen. In the coming days, challenge yourself to practice patience. See how this attitude changes the way people see you, and most importantly, how you feel inside. Patience is more than just controlling your temper. It demonstrates the value of your decisions and the positive impact you have on everything you do. And if you want to learn in practice how to apply Stoicism and emotional intelligence in your daily life, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future content. Habit 9. Honor your words. In a world where everyone talks too much and delivers too little, words have become a devalued currency. But for the wise and for the Stoics, they have always been sacred. Honoring one's word is one of the greatest demonstrations of character. It's the point where intention and action meet, where speech becomes truth. When your words and actions go hand in hand, you become someone others trust, and, more importantly, someone you trust yourself. Seneca said, "Promises are debts that time collects with interest." And he was right. Every time you promise something and don't deliver, even if it's something small, you weaken your own integrity. The mind notices it, the body feels it. An invisible fracture emerges between who you are and who you say you are. This inconsistency drains inner strength and erodes self-confidence. Because at its core, this is what trust is: believing you'll do what you say, even when no one's looking. Honoring your words doesn't mean being perfect, but being consistent. It means talking less, promising less, and acting more. Those who silently follow through have a natural authority that the noise of others can never achieve. It's the power of consistency, the kind of power that doesn't need to be announced because it's felt. The Stoics called this arete, moral excellence. For them, virtue was not found in grandiose speeches, but in actions aligned with reason and truth. Epictetus said, "Don't say you'll act justly. Act." Words only carry weight when they're anchored in conduct. The rest is just empty air. We live surrounded by shallow promises. People who say they'll change, start, show up, deliver, but disappear at the first sign of difficulty. That's why those who follow through on their promises stand out. A true word is rare, and the rare inspires respect. When someone realizes they can trust you, something changes in the way the world sees you. Your voice gains gravitas, your presence gains strength. But honoring your word isn't just about others, it's about yourself, first and foremost. How many times have you promised yourself you'd start something tomorrow? That you'd change your attitude, be more disciplined, calmer, more consistent, and then failed to deliver? Every broken promise to yourself is a wound to your self-esteem. Keeping your promises to yourself is the first step towards self-respect. And when you respect yourself, the world begins to respect you too. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, "A man's dignity lies in keeping his word and controlling his impulses." Strength of character arises from this balance between what is said and what is done. That is why wise men speak little, not because they have nothing to say, but because they know the weight of each word. A disciplined man's speech is measured, clear, and intentional, because he understands that once spoken, a word cannot be taken back. In the coming days, practice the art of talking less and delivering more. Before you make promises, ask yourself, can I really and want to accomplish this? If the answer is no, remain silent. If yes, act. If you say you'll be there on time, be there. If you say you're going to change a habit, start now. If you say you're going to help someone, help without excuses. Every time you honor your word, you strengthen your moral spine, and every time you fail, you learn the value of remaining silent until you're ready to act. Words have creative power. They build reputations, relationships, and destinies. It is through them that we form commitments, inspire trust, and leave our mark on the world. But the power of words depends on their purity. A word spoken without intention is like an arrow without a bow. It goes nowhere. Honoring your word means living with integrity, making every sentence a promise born of conscience. It means transforming "I will" into "I did." It means acting in such a way that others never need to doubt your intentions. And most importantly, it means creating within yourself a sense of stability, of knowing that you can trust your own words. Seneca said that wisdom lies not in speaking what is beautiful, but in living what is true. When you begin to treat your word as a moral contract, something changes profoundly. You become predictable in the best sense, someone who can be counted on, someone who is synonymous with trust. The challenge is simple yet profound. For the next 7 days, talk less and observe more. Promise only what you can deliver. Deliver on everything you say. And notice how your presence begins to change. People begin to listen to you differently, not because you speak louder, but because your voice carries the weight of truth. Honor is not measured by what you say, but by how much you back up what you say. And in the end, that is the greatest power anyone can have, to make one's own words a mirror of one's own character. Habit 10. Gratitude. Gratitude is like the soil from which all other virtues grow. It's not just a fleeting feeling, but an attitude that changes the way we see the world and strengthens our character. When we are grateful, we begin to see life with more acceptance and clarity, finding value in every situation and every person who comes our way. Think of someone who, when faced with a problem, chooses to look on the bright side. They see it as a chance to grow, learn something new, or simply to try again. This kind of gratitude doesn't need to be expressed in words. It emerges naturally in actions. Instead of complaining or feeling victimized, they act calmly and firmly, seeing opportunities where others only see difficulties. Practicing gratitude completely changes the way we look at life. When we're grateful for what we already have, we learn to see possibilities even in difficult situations. This habit connects us to the present and teaches us to appreciate the little things in everyday life. It's not just about what we receive, but how we choose to see and live each moment. This inner transformation reflects on the world outside of us, even changing the way people perceive us. Research shows that our posture and the confidence we project greatly influence how we are perceived. A study conducted at Harvard University found that when we adopt a firm and confident posture, the brain changes its chemistry, which increases inner security and reduces stress. This proves that true strength comes from within and is born from how we view life. And gratitude is the root of that strength. Cultivating small moments of gratitude every day gives us a quiet, constant energy. We often spend time wishing for what we don't have, forgetting to appreciate what we already have. Stoic philosophy teaches us that true wealth lies in appreciating the present, in living each day as a special gift, not just as another obligation. The philosopher Seneca said that poor are not those who have little, but those who desire too much. This idea reminds us that true abundance arises when we recognize the value of what we already have. Being grateful is more than saying thank you. It is living contentedly, with a heart full of gratitude which strengthens us internally and changes how we connect with the world. With gratitude, we stop seeking approval from others and begin to shine with a calm, genuine confidence that speaks for itself. But there's something important to understand. If you've been trying for a long time to step out of your comfort zone and learn more, but haven't been able to, there might be something you're not aware of. I know what it might be. Anxiety. Anxiety is like a snake that creeps up silently and affects you without you even realizing it. It leaves you feeling unwell for days, months, and even years. Living like this is like being sick all the time. But I know a solution. Stoic philosophers, along with modern psychology, have a way to help you get rid of it. I managed to cure myself of this anxiety. I made a video explaining how you can get rid of this problem, and it's in the first comment. Click the link in the first comment and start healing yourself from this feeling of anxiety. Habit 11. Tranquility. Imagine an orchestra. During the climax of the performance, one of the musicians makes a mistake and plays a different note. Some musicians in the orchestra get nervous and try to quickly change the rhythm, but the conductor remains calm, guiding everyone with firmness and precision. He doesn't need to say anything. His serenity and confidence shine like a light that restores harmony to the group amidst the chaos. Tranquility acts exactly like this in our lives, like a conductor who keeps everything in order even when chaos appears. It is a silent force, a sign of mastery and balance in a world full of noise and haste. This calmness conveys true confidence, demonstrating the power of self-control without the need for shouting or exaggerated gestures. Maintaining composure in difficult times, however, requires practice and attention. Often our instincts push us to react quickly and impulsively, as if each obstacle were a war we must win. But true peace isn't the absence of problems. It's knowing how to face them with balance and clarity. Controlling our emotions helps us respond wisely, rather than acting on impulse. For the Stoics, this calm was an essential part of any sensible decision. When we learn to cultivate composure, we listen more carefully and respond more clearly, even when criticized or pressured. Serenity gives us a broader perspective, allowing us to step outside the problem and see what's behind it to find the best solution. True strength doesn't have to be noisy. It's calm in action that demonstrates the power of self-control. In a world where people react without thinking, tranquility becomes something rare and charming. It demonstrates firmness, security, and a natural confidence that inspires respect and admiration. For the Stoics, this inner peace was a symbol of resilience and self-control. Developing this serenity is a silent yet powerful way to demonstrate your worth. Being calm doesn't mean being weak or naive. In fact, it's a sign of strength and self-confidence. Tranquility shows the depth of our character and reveals a true strength that comes from within. As Lao Tse said, "He who knows others is wise, but he who knows himself is enlightened." True tranquility comes from self-knowledge, because when we understand our emotions, we learn to control them and maintain balance, no matter the situation. Cultivating serenity is an act of courage and determination. It helps keep our minds clear and our hearts at peace, even in a world that constantly tries to throw us off balance. And if all this has made sense to you so far, stop for a moment and think. It was worth it. Learning to assert yourself also means learning to demonstrate your values and defend what truly matters to you. Habit 12. Master silence before acting. There is an invisible power in silence that few understand. It is neither weakness nor omission. It is mastery. Silence is the space where the wise breathe, impulses dissipate, and clarity is born. We live in a time when everyone wants to respond quickly, react instantly, and give their opinion on everything. But rushing to speak is the greatest enemy of wisdom. Those who master silence are not those who remain silent out of fear, but those who have learned that not every reaction deserves a response, and that the power to choose when to act is worth more than any argument. The ancient Stoics already knew this. Epictetus said that we should listen more than we speak and think more than we act on impulse. This idea seems simple, but it carries one of the greatest tests of self-control. In an argument, for example, the first reaction is almost always emotional. It's pride trying to defend itself, anger trying to overcome it, or fear trying to hide. But if you breathe and observe before responding, something changes. Your body calms, your mind regroups, and reason takes over. This brief pause is what separates reaction from control, and that difference changes everything. Consider a leader who is constantly provoked, criticized, and tested. He doesn't need to raise his voice to command respect. He listens, and when he speaks, his words carry weight. Why? Because he masters silence. He understands that the gap between stimulus and response is where power resides. Those who master silence are not passive, they are strategic. They know that every word spoken at the wrong time can destroy a relationship, a project, or their reputation. Therefore, silence becomes an invisible weapon, a defense against impulse, and a bridge to wisdom. There is also a kind of silence that is not merely the absence of speech, but total presence. When you listen attentively, the other person feels it. When you observe without haste, you perceive what no one else sees. Most people speak to be heard, but the wise remain silent to understand. This kind of listening builds respect, trust, and natural authority. In a conversation, true silence isn't uncomfortable. It's a field of presence. And it's this presence that makes people listen to you attentively when you finally decide to speak. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that we must keep our souls still before the noise of men. This phrase sums up the power of those who master silence, because contrary to what many think, silence is not empty. It is a form of fulfillment. It connects you with what truly matters, takes you away from the noise, and brings you closer to clarity. And the more you practice, the more you realize, silence is the foundation of every wise response. It is in silence that thought matures, emotions are balanced, and character is revealed. But be careful, silence can also be misinterpreted when it stems from insecurity. Therefore, the key is to use it intentionally. It's not silence that avoids conflict, but rather that transforms it. It's not silence that flees, but rather that observes. True silence is active. It chooses, filters, and prepares the ground for right action. This controlled calm is what differentiates the impulsive from the wise, those who react from those who decide. In the next few days, practice this simply. When you feel like justifying yourself, wait. When someone provokes you, breathe before responding. When you are confused, do not decide in haste. Use silence as a strategic pause. It's not the end of the conversation, it's the beginning of awareness. The modern world confuses speed with power, but deep down those who speak less feel more. Those who act less perceive more, and those who observe first hit with precision. Mastering silence is mastering yourself. It's having the courage to not react immediately, to observe hidden intentions, and to act only when the moment is right. He who masters silence is feared by some and respected by all, because he doesn't waste energy on what is worthless. He saves his strength for what truly matters. Epictetus said, "If what you are going to say is not more beautiful than silence, say nothing." That is the measure of wisdom. When your words are born of balance rather than impulse, they gain power. When your actions come from discernment rather than anger, they gain direction. Silence is the space where you return to yourself. That's where true mastery resides. And here is your challenge. For the next 7 days, practice the power of silence in at least one situation a day. Observe how the world reacts when you don't react. You will notice that when you become silent, the noise from outside loses its strength, and the noise from inside becomes organized. In the end, it's not silence that distances you from the world, but what connects you to it with more wisdom, presence, and respect. Talk is cheap. But true power lies in knowing when silence speaks volumes. Habit 13. Self-control. The true power to lead your own life. True power lies not in controlling the world around you, but in knowing how to govern yourself with courage and firmness. Self-control is the silent weapon of people who truly lead their own lives. It is the foundation of a confident and stable presence, unshaken by what's happening around you. Imagine yourself in an important meeting. A colleague is talking about a project, and you feel like interrupting to show you understand the subject, perhaps even better than they do. But then you remember the value of self-control. Instead of cutting them off, you take a deep breath and listen attentively. This simple gesture demonstrates maturity, respect, and emotional intelligence. Without opening your mouth, you convey strength and authority calmly. People come to admire you not for shouting louder, but for maintaining your composure, even when it would be easy to act impulsively. Mastering your emotions and attitudes not only demonstrates maturity, but also true strength that comes from within. Those who learn to control their reactions inspire respect, because even when everything seems out of control, they maintain composure and clarity. This ability to master oneself is one of the greatest strengths anyone can acquire. As the proverb says, "He who rules himself is mightier than he who commands armies." This inner power not only changes the way others see you, but also brings lasting peace, balance, and respect into your life. Think about how much you could accomplish if, in each challenge, you chose to act calmly and clearly, rather than responding impulsively. Self-control may seem difficult at first, but the impact it has is profound, both on you and those observing your approach. For the Stoics, self-control was essential to living with purpose and wisdom. Start slowly, breathe before reacting, consider the consequences before acting. Over time, this becomes a natural habit. You learn to respond firmly and peacefully, demonstrating a strong character and a calm mind. Over the next few days, accept the challenge of practicing self-control in the small, everyday situations. Notice how this changes the way you see the world and how people perceive you. Every moment you choose control over impulsive reaction is proof of your true strength. The most impressive power is the one we wield over ourselves. Habit 14. Have emotional fortitude. The most admirable strength in a person is not the one that lifts weights, but the one that sustains one's own center when everything around seems to collapse. Emotional fortitude is that silent ability to remain stable amidst chaos, to maintain a clear mind when others lose control. It's the kind of power that doesn't need to be displayed because it's felt. In the calm voice, the attentive gaze, the serene presence of someone who masters themselves. We live in a time when people take offense at anything, get irritated by the slightest setback, and change their mood like the wind changes direction. Reacting is easy, but staying strong requires discipline and awareness. Emotional strength isn't about becoming cold. It's about remaining whole even when the world tries to fragment you. It's about learning to feel without drowning in emotions. Marcus Aurelius called this the impenetrability of the soul. For him, the wise man is like a rock facing the sea. The waves crash, roar, and churn, but the rock remains firm, unshakable, because it knows who it is. This image perfectly explains what emotional steadfastness means, not resisting the sea, but learning to stand within it. Having emotional strength doesn't mean being indifferent. It means feeling angry and still choosing not to react aggressively, feeling fear and still moving forward, feeling sadness but not letting it dictate the course of your life. It's accepting what you feel, but clearly choosing what to do with it. This is one of the most difficult virtues to develop because it requires mastery over what no one sees, your own internal states. Most people try to control what's outside, the weather, others, situations. Wise people, however, turn their gaze inward and learn to control what truly matters, how they respond to what happens. Seneca said that it's not the event itself that hurts us, but the opinion we form about it. And he was right. When something goes wrong, the suffering comes not only from what happened, but from the meaning we give it. An undisciplined mind turns setbacks into tragedies. A firm mind turns tragedies into lessons. Imagine someone who loses an important client, is criticized at work, or suffers betrayal. The impulse is to react, complain, justify themselves, blame others, or wallow in self-pity. But someone with emotional fortitude does the opposite. They breathe, observe, and ask themselves, what is still within my control? This simple act changes everything. Breathing pauses reaction, observation brings clarity, and questioning restores power. This is how self-control is born, from small, conscious pauses that save you from major regrets. Having emotional strength also means protecting your own peace. Not every provocation deserves a response, nor every injustice deserves war. Sometimes the greatest demonstration of strength is refusing to engage in battles that would only drain your energy. Self-control is an invisible shield. It protects what's most valuable within you, your lucidity. The Stoics saw the world as a testing ground. Every emotional challenge was a chance to train the soul. Anger trains patience, fear trains courage, sadness trains acceptance. Every emotion is a teacher in disguise. When you run away from them, you miss the lesson. When you face them with serenity, you mature. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his diary, "If the problem comes from outside, it cannot harm you without your consent. If it comes from within, the power to heal it is also within you." These words are the epitome of emotional stability. Anything that destabilizes you only has power if you allow it. But firmness is not rigidity. Being firm means having deep roots, not hard walls. It means adapting to whatever comes your way without losing your bearings. Bamboo bends with the wind, but never breaks. A rigid tree, on the other hand, splits in half at the first storm. Emotional firmness is that rare combination of strength and flexibility. You stand your ground but know how to yield when it's wise to do so. In the next few days, train your mind to observe your emotions before acting. When something irritates you, count to 10 before responding. When something frustrates you, take a deep breath and ask, "Will this still matter a month from now?" When something hurts you, ask, "What can I learn from this?" These small exercises shape calmness like a muscle, and the more you practice, the stronger it becomes. Little by little, situations that once threw you off balance begin to teach you about your own power. Emotional strength is the pinnacle of self-mastery. It's not visible, but it manifests itself in every gesture. It's what makes people respect you without being able to explain why. Because deep down, everyone senses when someone carries peace within them, and no one questions those who are at peace. So the challenge is simple. For the next 7 days, resolve to be the calmest person in the room. Notice how the atmosphere changes when you refuse to lose control. You'll discover that the whole world respects those who don't flinch. Because in the end, true power isn't controlling others. It's never letting chaos control you. Habit 15. Protect your energy from distractions. Attention is the mind's most valuable currency. What you focus on grows, what you ignore weakens. But we live in an age where everyone is competing for this currency, trying to buy your mind with noise, urgency, and instant gratification. Protecting your energy isn't a luxury, it's a form of emotional and mental survival. Those who don't learn to control what they consume end up being consumed. Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul is dyed with the color of its thoughts." This means that everything you see, read, and hear leaves invisible marks within you. Every distraction, every notification, every idle chatter, they all drain a part of your strength. And the danger lies not only in the great losses, but in the small daily distractions that fragment your mind until it becomes incapable of focusing on anything profound. The Stoics valued focus as a virtue. For them, living well was living with intention, doing what's necessary at the right time in the best possible way. This requires presence and discipline. The modern world, however, creates the opposite, a constant state of alert. We check our phones hundreds of times a day, responding to stimuli constantly, and call it normality. But little by little, this normality robs us of what's most important: clarity. Seneca warned, "It is impossible for those who waste time to discover what life is. When you are too distracted, you don't live. You just react, and reacting all the time is the fastest path to fatigue, confusion, and dissatisfaction." Protecting your energy begins with a simple yet profound decision: choosing what deserves your attention. Ask yourself, does this feed or drain my mind? This is the question that separates the wise from the distracted. Wisdom lies not in knowing everything, but in knowing what to ignore. Think of your energy as a garden. Every distraction is a weed that grows without permission. If you don't pull it out, it crowds out the flowers, the good ideas, the deep reflections, the projects that truly matter. That's why silence, reading, and alone time are so powerful. They restore control over your own mental territory. But protecting your energy isn't just about turning off your cell phone or avoiding noise. It's also about learning to say no. Saying no to pointless conversations. Saying no to people who drain your peace. Saying no to tasks that don't reflect your values. Every well-spoken no is an act of self-love. Epictetus taught, "If you want to be free, desire nothing that depends on another. Distraction is a modern form of slavery. It traps you in dopamine cycles, in short-lived rewards that leave you emptier than before. And when the mind becomes accustomed to this constant stimulation, it loses its taste for depth. Everything seems dull, slow, and tedious. Therefore, focus is a spiritual training. It retrains the brain to find pleasure in silence and satisfaction in constancy. In the coming days, take small steps to protect your energy. Start the day in silence without opening your cell phone for the first hour. Choose 2 or 3 times a day to check messages and nothing more. Create a distraction-free physical space, clean, organized, and calm. Finish each task before starting another. These actions may seem small, but they restore your mental strength. You'll find that by eliminating the excess, what's essential flourishes. Focus returns, clarity returns, and peace becomes natural. Stoic philosophy teaches that tranquility comes not from controlling the world, but from controlling what we allow into our minds. When you protect your attention, you also protect your energy, your mood, and your wisdom. Remember, the modern world wants you to be distracted because a distracted mind is easy to manipulate. But a focused mind is dangerous. It's free. Therefore, the challenge is simple but transformative. Don't give your mind away for free. Every time you choose where to place your attention, you are choosing who you become. Energy follows focus, and where your attention lives, your life flourishes or fades. Choose wisely. Habit 16. Observe before you judge. We live in a time when everyone has something to say, but few have something to observe. People speak before they understand, react before they think, judge before they listen. And that's why wisdom has become so rare. The habit of observing, of looking calmly and clearly before offering an opinion, is one of the most evident signs of inner strength and emotional maturity. The ancient Stoics understood this profoundly. They knew that the human mind is quick to react and slow to understand. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to resemble the one who hurt you." And what he meant is simple. The wise man doesn't rush. He doesn't get involved in others' confusion because he knows that every thoughtless judgment is a way to lose energy and peace. Observing before giving an opinion is a way to maintain self-control. In a world of noise and haste, silence and observation have become revolutionary acts. When you choose to see instead of react, you put yourself one step ahead. You see what most ignore: the intentions, the details, what's between the lines. While others rush to prove a point, you're studying the terrain. And those who observe first make better decisions. A wise mind doesn't need to rush to judgment. It understands that time is a natural filter that reveals what is true. Often, all it takes is a little waiting for other people's intentions to reveal themselves. Seneca said, "Nothing is more worthy of a wise man than to remain calm in the midst of confusion." This calmness comes from observation. Observing before offering an opinion is an exercise in humility and self-control. It's admitting that you may not yet know everything, and that's okay. It's choosing to understand before reacting. This changes the way you relate to the world. Instead of reacting to every stimulus, you become someone who acts consciously. Instead of speaking to fill the silence, you speak because you have something solid to say. Imagine a leader in a meeting full of divergent opinions. Everyone talks, tries to impose ideas, interrupts each other. He, however, listens, he takes notes, he observes who speaks with ego and who speaks with reason, and only then, when the noise subsides, does he speak, with few words, but with precision. And it is precisely because he speaks less that everyone listens to him. His authority comes from observation, not from a rush to be right. Deep observation requires presence. It means being fully present in the moment, attentive not only to what is said, but also to what is felt. Observe the tone, the body language, the silences. People reveal much more in what they don't say than in what they do say. This kind of reading comes only from those who have learned to wait, and waiting is a form of power. Epictetus taught that we should listen twice as much as we speak. After all, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. He knew that true understanding comes from listening, not speaking. And listening isn't just hearing sounds, but perceiving what's behind them. In the coming days, practice this simple, life-changing habit. Observe before you judge. When someone tells you something, take a breath before responding. When you feel like correcting, interrupting, or arguing, wait a little longer. When you read the news or see something on social media, ask yourself, is this fact or just interpretation? That tiny space between stimulus and response is where wisdom resides. It's the space that separates reaction from consciousness, impulse from reason. And the more you expand it, the freer you become. The rush to express an opinion is a product of ego, the desire to appear intelligent, to be first, to be right. But the wise man does not seek to be right, he seeks to be at peace. And those who seek peace observe first. Observing isn't about ignoring, it's about preparing to act in the best possible way. It's like the patience of an archer waiting for the right moment to release the arrow, knowing that a hasty shot almost always misses the target. In the silence of observation, you learn more about the world and about yourself. You realize how much of your opinions stem from emotions, not facts. You discover that many conflicts could be avoided if people simply breathed before speaking. The next time you're about to judge, remember, you're seeing a fragment of the story, not the whole. Wait for time to complete the picture before forming your conclusion. Observing before expressing an opinion is a sign of strength and respect for yourself and others. It's a way of saying to the world, I am not a hostage to my reactions. Wisdom resides in the silence between seeing and responding. And when you master this interval, you also master your life. Because those who observe first understand better, and those who understand better live with greater lightness, clarity, and power. Habit 17. Become predictable in virtue, unpredictable in weakness. There's a quiet strength in those who live by firm principles. These people don't need to justify themselves or explain their actions. Everyone around them already knows what to expect from them. They're predictable in what's noble, steadfast in what's right, and at the same time they're unpredictable in their reactions when someone tries to throw them off balance, provoke them, or test them. This combination is rare. It's the perfect balance between moral firmness and emotional mystery. The ancient Stoics knew that true power lies in consistency. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his diaries, "Be like the rock against which the waves break, immovable, and which makes the sea calm around it." This is predictability and virtue, maintaining integrity even when everything around you tries to shake you from your calm. People who live this way become anchors amidst chaos. They inspire confidence because they don't change with the current wind. Being predictable in virtue means being reliable in what truly matters, in honesty, patience, keeping your word, respect, and constant effort. It's when others know that regardless of the situation, you won't betray your principles for convenience. This predictability is what strengthens your reputation. The most admired leaders, the wisest teachers, and the most loyal friends share this quality. They are firm in what is right and immune to the temptations of acting impulsively. But here's the second pillar. Be unpredictable in weakness. This means no one should be able to predict how you'll react when provoked, insulted, or pressured. Fragile people have predictable reactions. They get angry when criticized, justify themselves when questioned, and remain silent when challenged. Strong people, on the other hand, know how to surprise. They maintain control when others expect an outburst. They respond calmly when others expect a loss of control. They smile when others try to offend. This unpredictability confuses those trying to manipulate you and preserves your emotional energy. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens that hurts us, but how we react to it." Being unpredictable in weakness is therefore mastering one's own behavior in the face of chaos. It's refusing to dance to someone else's tune. It's having a mind so disciplined that no one can predict what will knock you off center. See how this changes the game. When you're predictable in virtue, others trust you. When you're unpredictable in weakness, others respect you. This duality creates natural authority. It's the kind of power that doesn't need to be displayed. It's felt. Think of a Stoic warrior. He wakes up and performs his duties with discipline without needing external motivation. Everyone knows he'll do what needs to be done, but when attacked, he doesn't react as the enemy expects. Sometimes he remains silent, sometimes he acts with surgical precision, sometimes he simply observes. He never gives others the pleasure of predicting his next move. This is the essence of emotional strength and also of strategic wisdom. In practice, this means cultivating routines of moral consistency, but maintaining mental flexibility. Be predictable in kindness, commitment, and words. But be unpredictable when they try to throw you off balance. Stay firm in your values, but free from easy-to-read emotional patterns. The world constantly tries to decipher your weaknesses. It's through them that people try to control you, touching on the points that irritate you, destabilize you, or make you doubt yourself. Therefore, the unpredictability of emotions is a shield. When no one knows what to expect from your reaction, no one has power over you. Seneca taught that the truly free man is he who can say, "I master myself." And mastering oneself means being consistent in character and flexible in ego. It means knowing when to speak and when to be silent, when to act and when to wait, when to assert oneself and when to let things pass. This wisdom creates a strong, calm, and enigmatic presence, the kind of presence that commands respect without having to raise one's voice. Over the next few days, observe how people react to difficult situations. Most become predictable in the worst sense. A small delay, a criticism, an insult, and they're out of control. Practice the opposite. Breathe before reacting. Respond calmly where the world would expect anger. Be silent where they would expect justification. Act with dignity where they would expect revenge. This is being unpredictable in weakness. Being predictable in virtue and unpredictable in weakness is an art of balancing firmness and mystery. It's the state in which you become solid as stone and light as the wind, trustworthy, yet impossible to manipulate. Remember, the world respects those who are constant in what is right and indecipherable in what is vulnerable. This is the mark of the wise and the strong. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to prove yourself. Just live so uprightly and serenely that no one doubts your character, and so consciously that no one can predict what will shake you. This is the supreme power of the disciplined mind, steady as the sun, unpredictable as silence. Habit 18. Be present. How to live in the moment. Being truly present is a rare gift that changes the way we connect with others and how we are perceived. This was a valuable lesson Daniel, an executive seeking personal growth, learned during a leadership retreat. By learning to live in the moment, he not only strengthened his relationships, but also began to convey trust and respect without having to say anything. On his first day, Daniel was excited to understand himself better and improve his leadership skills. During the first group activity, he tried to pay attention to his classmates' stories, but his mind began to wander, wondering what he would say when it was his turn to speak. Before he knew it, he had completely missed what a classmate was saying. His mentor, a wise and calm monk, noticed his distraction and gently asked him to repeat what she had just said. Daniel, embarrassed, realized he had forgotten nothing. It was at that moment that he understood the power of true presence. The monk explained that genuine listening goes far beyond being polite. It's a way of showing respect and valuing others, which conveys a natural and authentic authority. Daniel then realized that when we are truly present, people feel seen and important. This creates a quiet sense of leadership and trust. Instead of being just another person in the room, he became someone whose presence could be felt. Being present is fully immersing yourself in the moment, with your body, mind, and heart in the same place. Our minds, often divided between what has already happened and what is yet to come, often prevent us from truly being present in the only moment that matters, the now. Seneca said that those who try to be everywhere are actually nowhere. Modern science confirms this. Our attention is lost nearly half the time, and so learning to be present has become essential training for those who want to grow and excel. For the Stoics, living in the moment was not just a skill, but a complete way of seeing life. Marcus Aurelius wrote that we can leave this world at any moment, and that this memory should guide our every action. This idea teaches us to value the present, something that people who truly live in the present clearly perceive. Being present is a gift, to oneself and to others, and also a unique mark we leave on the world. When we're fully attentive in a conversation, we create a silent energy that people feel, making the connection stronger and more genuine. By truly listening, we can understand what's behind the words and perceive what truly matters. There's no need for long speeches or demonstrations to demonstrate authority. It comes naturally to those who are centered and attentive. Living in the moment requires practice and discipline. When your mind starts to wander, calmly bring it back and remind yourself that your commitment is to the present moment. This exercise is a testament to inner strength and a silent way to demonstrate leadership. Being present is a subtle yet powerful way to affirm your worth and demonstrate confidence. By embracing the present moment, you convey peace, respect, and confidence, and others sense this even without words. True presence is the path to living fully and expressing without needing to speak all that you truly are. So, tell me, which of these habits will you start practicing today? And thank you for following along.